So hey guys, you can tell by probably the shirt already that today will be my movie review for the new Jurassic Park film known as Jurassic World. This is the fourth installment in the Jurassic Park franchise. This sequel has been in development for a very long time. I actually remember all the way back when it was just called Jurassic Park 4, and Steven Spielberg, Joe Johnston, and tons of other directors, tons of other writers, tons of just drafts that were all around Universal Studios are all in development. And for some reason or another, the film never quite came to fruition into a movie. And so it wasn't until 2015, obviously, this year, where we finally got Jurassic World, the fourth installment, which we finally got by Colin Trevorrow, who directed Safety Not Guaranteed 3 years ago, I believe. So in Jurassic World, in this film, basically they have found a way to make Jurassic Park work. They renamed it to Jurassic World to kind of leave the past behind everybody. Professor Hammond, unfortunately, is long dead, like Richard Attenborough is in real life. But somehow they have found a way through a company called Mizrahi to get the park working again. There's a petting zoo. People can walk through the park. People can interact with the dinosaurs. It's a complete, almost zoo-like experience. And it gives people a full prehistoric view of what the dinosaurs were like in person, through fact, through video. Anything you would possibly see through a theme park can happen in Jurassic World. But things kind of go amok, or wrong you can say also, when a new dinosaur attraction is introduced called the I-Rex. I believe there's some other name for it, but the nickname for it is the I-Rex. Is introduced to this park, but things go wrong right away. There's features to this dinosaur that even the creators weren't quite aware of when they first made it at this laboratory. This in charge by B.D. Wong, who was also in the first Jurassic Park, who was also in charge of the laboratory at the time, and he plays an even bigger role in this film. The I-Rex goes wrong. They get a velociraptor trainer involved with it when the dinosaur goes missing. This character is played by Chris Pratt, who's in charge of the velociraptors. He can train the velociraptors almost kind of like they're dogs, or military dogs, I guess, in a way, when they're aggressive. They get him involved, and things still don't go right. They have to evacuate the island, and so things kind of turn out the same way in a similar fashion to the first Jurassic Park film, where they think they can control nature, but they really can't. So overall, guys, I really enjoyed Jurassic World. I thought this was a very good sequel. I think it was definitely worth the wait. I just really liked what Colin Trevorrow, who's obviously known for independent films like Safety Not Guaranteed, has done here. And I like how he's kind of been introduced through a mainstream film. You don't really get to see that a lot with independent directors. And I like how Colin Trevorrow got to do it with a big budget film like Jurassic World. So for my positives and negatives, I thought the nostalgic moments were very useful and very, very effective. Because, I remember all the way back when first Jurassic Park film came out and when Lost World Jurassic Park came out all the way back in the 90s. And so there was a lot of moments in here that definitely gave you that moment of nostalgia, reminded you of the first film, sometimes even the second and third film at times. And like I said, the nostalgic moments really worked well in this movie. Chris Pratt's character, who, like I said, was like a velociraptor trainer in the movie, his name is Owen. I liked the character and the performance that Chris Pratt brought into this movie. Very fun character, very funny character. You definitely believe that he could take down these dinosaurs if necessary, that he can train them, connect with them through emotion and soul, and really kind of dive deep into their psyche and really make them believe that he means well to them, and to help them back down when obviously they need him to do that in the movie. So I just really liked the character and performance that he brought here. Just a lot of fun. There was some use of animatronics here, and I'm really glad that Colin Trevorrow wasn't too intimidated by the CGI in this movie, because he did bring back some animatronic effects that were used in the first movie, such as, for those who remember the first movie, when the Triceratops wasn't it was ill and it was lying on the ground, and Laura Dern had to analyze the feces, but there was a Triceratops in that scene that was actually an animatronic robot by Stan Winston, who did the special effects at the time for that movie. They actually used a real robot dinosaur for that, and there's a scene here where they use a robot dinosaur in this movie too, and it's very much in memory of that Triceratops, kind of a homage to that scene when the Triceratops was lying down in the field. So I like how Colin Trevorrow brought back animatronics and didn't just rely on CGI for the movie, even though there's quite a bit of it. But the fact that he brought back animatronics and didn't rely completely on CGI, I thought was very awesome. And if they do make a Jurassic Park 5, I hope they do bring that back for that as well. Jake Johnson, who also worked with Colin Trevorrow in Safety Not Guaranteed, has a role in this movie, and kind of like Safety Not Guaranteed, he's kind of the comic relief, and it works really well. He kind of reminded me of Wayne Knight's character from the first Jurassic Park film, while also being a comic relief like Jeff Goldblum in the first Jurassic Park film, and it worked really well. I think he pulled off both sides of both of those characters really well, made a character of his own in the process, and it just was a lot of fun to watch in this movie. There was also some very impressive CGI for the movie, and I liked how Colin Trevorrow only really used it when necessary. I really liked how he used it for the visuals and for the wow value as we're going through this park and seeing it for ourselves like these customers are in Jurassic World. And obviously he uses the CGI really well when he needs to for the action scenes, which very much require CGI since some of these action scenes would probably be really hard to do with animatronics. I liked how Colin Trevorrow also gave emotion and soul to the dinosaurs, even more so than the first film. This film kind of brings the point that these are animals with souls, and that they have emotion, they have feelings, they have a soul, and there's somehow some way for us to connect with those feelings that these animals have. And Chris Pratt's character very much was reminiscent of that. Really proved the point of this, how he can calm the velociraptors down when necessary in the plot. So I really liked how Colin Trevorrow brought that to the movie. It was kind of an interesting take on dinosaurs that we haven't seen yet. The film also stars two young boys who are the nephews of a character played by Bryce Dallas Howard in the film. She kind of operates the park in a sense. They go in as guests to the park, and there is a plot revolving them that I actually thought was pretty effective. I like how Colin Trevorrow managed to find two child actors who really could play the part well, because sometimes when you hire a child actor like this, someone this young for these two actors, for these two characters to play the part, it's either a hit or a miss affair. Either you get someone who's really good at it, like Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter, or you get someone who's not so good at it, like the kid from Home Alone 3. But I liked how it was definitely more so in the vein of Daniel Radcliffe or like a Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone when it came to these two young brothers as the child actors here. B.D. Wong, who was in the first Jurassic Park film as a laboratory scientist, and Vincent D'Onofrio's character, I thought both actors did a terrific job. B.D. Wong definitely continued what he started with Jurassic Park 1 and developed that even further, I believe, even here for this movie. And Vincent D'Onofrio, though he's getting a lot of complaints right now online, I actually thought the character was really good, and I understood the motivation behind him. So right there, I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, it was a great performance. I understood the character's motivation, even if we weren't supposed to like him completely. For my negatives of Jurassic World, because it's not quite a perfect film, and my first negative will probably be a pretty obvious one for a lot of people. I don't think this movie's as good as the first Jurassic Park film. I thought it didn't quite bring that magic back completely. It was obviously there a lot for the nostalgic moments, but as far as being a film goes, I still think the original Jurassic Park by Steven Spielberg is still the classic, iconic Jurassic Park film that we all came to know. It's still my favorite Jurassic Park film, personally. So if you go into this film expecting something better than Jurassic Park 1, please don't do that. It's a very good film, but it's not quite that great of a film. There's one thing I had a complaint with in the movie, too. There was some green screen staging in the film that felt very weak. It felt way too obvious that there was a green screen before, in front of the actors or actresses in some parts. Specifically when there's somebody in training with one of the velociraptor cages. It felt very obvious that there was a green screen behind him or in front of him when they were shooting it. So there's a few little moments in here where it feels too obvious that they have a green screen, and the film kind of it loses its believability because of this. Another negative I had is there were some scenes that just felt way too coincidental, and another negative I had is that some scenes felt too convenient for its own good, like the lead actors or lead actresses not getting killed off during a huge killing spree or during a huge final battle in the movie. I mean, it just felt a little too convenient at times. But overall, I am going to give Jurassic World an 8.5 out of 10. I think this is a very good sequel to a very good film franchise. I definitely think it continued the greatness that the Jurassic Park franchise has come to be. So for those who like Jurassic Park, or even if you like the Lost World Jurassic Park or Jurassic Park 3, I think you're going to have a lot of fun here. Jurassic World's a very fun summer blockbuster film I think everybody could enjoy for those who like the previous Jurassic Park films. 8.5 out of 10 for me. Very good sequel, but please, at the same time, don't go in expecting something better than the original movie. But still a lot of fun to be had. 8.5 out of 10 for me.